This morning, I'd like to introduce you to some of the members of the cast of Trial by Jury, which is a operetta sort of affair by Gilbert and Sullivan. You've heard of them, no doubt. And Rafe MacPhail, who's the director of this performance, are you directing?
Yes.
I would think so. Okay, so tell me all about the show. Where is it? When is it? And,
Well, Trial by Jury will be presented this weekend for 2 performances at the Worley Barton Theater at Brentwood Christian School on North Lamar. There's a performance at 7:30 Saturday night and at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Okay, so you've got Saturday and Sunday to choose from. And Jeffrey Jones-Ragona is here, but he's not at the piano, but he's going to conduct, I guess. Is that right?
Well, probably won't actually wave my arms or anything.
But you'll have an orchestra on the weekend.
No, it's being
just
accompanied
piano.
on a very beautiful large Steinway grand. I will be conducting, though. It's,
Okay.
Need somebody to hold it together. It's a pretty complicated little show for 40 minutes.
It's 40 minutes long is all?
About, yeah.
How
it's just
about
one
that?
act, yeah.
But it must be quite delightful because it's famous.
Oh, yes, very much so.
Okay,
Very
so
much
let's have a little bit of it. What's the setup for the first piece we'll hear?
Well, the Trial by Jury concerns itself with the breach of promise of marriage. Until fairly recently in England, one could actually sue a former suitor if he declined to marry after making a proposal of marriage.
Wow.
And Gilbert found this absolutely astounding, not to say hilarious, in the late 19th century. And this one-act opera, set in a very realistic courtroom setting, concerns this sort of breach of promise. The defendant is Edwin, who had agreed to marry Angelina, who is the plaintiff. She is represented by counsel. There's a judge, an usher, a jury, spectators, and when Angelina shows up, dressed in her full bridal regalia.
Oh, my God.
I know the ladies' chorus is also dressed for the wedding. Gilbert combined this very sort of prosaic trial with, showed the absurdity by dressing his characters as if for this wedding that it has been called
But
off.
I would think Edwin doesn't want to dress like that.
Well, no, he's sort of a rake, but traditionally he does perform, he does come on stage dressed in a cutaway.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, of course, this is nicely contrasted with the legal robes and so forth of the various personnel. But what's really funny is that Trial by Jury, when it was written in 1875, was the first of the Gilbert and Sullivan operas presented by Richard D'Oyley Carte. And although it's only a one-act dramatic cantata, in many respects it was set the prototype for the Gilbert and Sullivan works to follow. And a fine example of that is the judge's song. Listen carefully as he sings, and you'll find out that he's not really very well qualified to be an unbiased judge for such a trial, because he comes on and sings, as so many of these characters do in later operas, of his own history. And his own history suggests that he knows something about breaches of promise. Our judge will be Arthur DiBianca, and this is the first, I think, of the grand Gilbert and Sullivan self-referential patter songs. When I, Good Friends, was called to the bar.
When I, good friends, was called to the bar, I'd an appetite fresh and hearty, but I was, as many young barristers are, an impecunious party. I'd a swallowtail coat of a beautiful blue, a brief which I bought of a booby, a couple of shirts and a collar or two, and a ring that looked like a ruby.
A couple of shirts and a collar or two, and a ring that looked like a ruby.
In Westminster Hall I danced a dance like a semi-despondent fury, for I thought I never should hit on a chance of addressing a British jury. But I soon got tired of third-class journeys and dinners of bread and water. So I fell in love with a rich attorney's elderly, ugly daughter.
So we fell in love with a rich attorney's elderly, ugly daughter.
The rich attorney, he jumped with joy and replied to my fond professions. You shall reap the reward of your pluck, my boy, at the Bailey and Middlesex sessions. You will soon get used to her looks, said he, and a very nice girl you will find her. She may very well pass for 43 in the dusk with a light behind her.
She may very well pass for 43 in the dusk with a light behind her.
The rich attorney was good as his word. The briefs came trooping gaily, and every day my voice was heard at the sessions or ancient Bailey. All thieves who could my fees afford relied on my orations. And many a burglar I've restored to his friends and his relations.
And many a burglar he's restored to his friends and his relations.
At length I became as rich as the Gurneys, an incubus then I thought so I threw over that rich attorney's elderly ugly daughter. The rich attorney, my character high, tried vainly to disparage.
No!
Yes. And now, if you please, I'm ready to try this breach of promise of marriage.
And now, if you please, he's ready to try this breach of promise of marriage.
For now I'm a judge.
And a good judge too.
Yes, now I'm a judge.
And a good judge too.
Though all my lobby fudge, yet I'll never, never budge, but I'll live and die a judge.
And a good judge too.
It was managed by a job.
And a good job too.
It was managed by a job.
And a good job too.
It is patent to the mob that my being made a knob was effected by a job.
And a good
job too.
Well, that was just delightful. Anthony DiBianca is just fabulous at these kind of roles, and that
was
one
born to play
particularly.
them.
Yeah, he was really born to play them, just as good as Doily Card or any of those. Just absolutely terrific. Thank you, and Karl Logue at the piano, and thanks to the rest of the cast members for singing the chorus. And this show, the Trial by Jury show, is on stage where?
At the Worley Barton Theater at Brentwood Christian School on North
Which is
Lamar.
North Lamar. Okay.
That's where we've had our summer productions
Right.
the last 5 years or so.
And it's your website is gilbertandsullivan.org.
GilbertSullivan.org.
gilbertsullivan.org.
Right, and there's also an 800 number that one
Okay.
can call.
So check it out. Or you can just Google it, and that'll take you
Sure.
there too. And it's happening Saturday night and Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
Okay, this weekend. So now we have. Is this going to be the bride?
Yes,
oh,
we meet the
my
plaintiff,
goodness.
and she comes in, and the first thing she does, of course, is to flirt with all the jury,
Uh-huh.
and then flirts even bigger time with the judge. And he really has an eye for the ladies, as we'll see. And then she sings this lovely aria about, well, being a bride.
Okay, let's have it.
O'er the season vernal, time may cast a shade. Sunshine, if eternal, makes the roses fade. Time may do his duty, let the thief alone. Winter hath a beauty that is all his own, that is all his own. Fairest days are sun and shade. I am no unhappy maid. I am no unhappy maid, unhappy maid.
Just sweet as pie. You were just really, really nice, and that was and appropriately
Irving.
Angela Irving.
Playing
Thank you.
Angelina.
Playing Angelina. Just
Thank you.
What's
How
very
nice is
interesting,
that?
John, I think, is that she says she's no unhappy maid, but shortly the counsel will do all she can to help convince the jury that she is indeed unhappy, because after all, damages must be paid.
Right.
And although this soprano is very sweet, like so many Gilbertian sopranos, she really knows what side of the bread the butter is on.
Right.
And she'd like to add some more butter.
Right. Pretty good, Ralph. I'm speaking to Ralph MacPhail, Rafe MacPhail, who is the director of the Gilbert and Sullivan Society production of Trial by Jury. It's a short one, and you can see it on Saturday night or Sunday afternoon at the
Worley Barton Theater at
Okay.
Brentwood Christian School.
Okay, do we have one more number?
Yes, we do. It's so hard. This is a through composed work, the only true opera Gilbert and Sullivan ever wrote, although they called it a dramatic cantata. But it made sense to select for our third number the pleas of the defendant and the plaintiff to the jury as their case is presented. And here we have Angelina appealing to the jury for sympathy, and then the defendant pointing out that really he shouldn't be held liable for that promise because, as he said earlier, nature is constantly changing.
I love him with fervor unceasing. I worship and madly adore. My blind adoration is ever increasing. My loss I shall ever deplore. Oh, see what a blessing, what a love and caressing I've lost, and remember it, pray. When you I'm addressing, I'm busy assessing the damages Edwin must pay. Yes, he must pay.
I smoke like a furnace, I'm always in liquor, a ruffian, a bully, a sot. I'm sure I should thrash her, perhaps I should kick her, I am such a very bad lot. I'm not prepossessing, as you may be guessing, she couldn't endure me a day. Recall my professing when you are assessing the damages Edwin must pay.
Yes, he must pay.
Then it goes into this huge corral, and the judge ends up settling the case himself, tossing papers in the air and saying, "Put your briefs upon the shelf. I will marry her myself."
The end.
The end.
Okay, thanks. We've had the cast members from Gilbert and Sullivan Society's production of Trial by Jury, which you can see this Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. And it's once again, Rafe,
At the Worley Barton Theater at Brentwood Christian School, gilbertsullivan.org, and there's an 800 number one can call, too, for tickets.
thank you so much for coming in. Thank you all for singing so wonderfully. And thanks to Cliff Hargrove, our engineer, for making it sound so nice. And this is KUTX 98.9. I'm your host, John Aielli on Eklektikos. Keep listening to your Austin music experience.